Well, hello there again, everybody. Boyd here with you, and we're back with another update on our DeAgostini Ford GT build. We left off in our last video with working on the floor pan here, and we got some more parts pack shipments that came in, so we're off with another adventure putting this together, you guys, and I'm really loving this as far as it's gone so far. Everything has really been pretty much trouble-free. The only thing I could really say anything we had an issue with so far was one of the, the hinges on the door, and we've got that pretty well figured out. Just a little, little extra time and thought put into that, straightened that issue right out. So overall, this has just been a really fantastic kit. Just want to remind everybody that you can go down in the description down below in the video here and get your promo code if you want to order one of these kits for yourself and start on it. It'll give you a little bit of a discount there. So what we're working with today, you guys, is parts pack update number 18. And we're going to be going on through, I think, almost up to 30, but we'll see where we get here today, with time allowing. So we've got this secondary part that came in for our floor pan. We built sort of half of the engine bay here, so we're going to be building the other half today. And we're just going to get the part out here first. And we've got the little screws that it comes with and the little detail plate, basically the same one that's on the other side there. So we'll kind of get this stuff out of the way, and we'll open up our instruction book here and check out what they're asking us to do. And it looks like first we're going to be putting this plate, attaching it down onto the bulkhead just like we did last time. So we're using these, let's see, these are FP01 screws. Again, they give you more than enough to complete your assembly here, so I'm trying not to lose any of these, but I'm not being as careful as I was at the beginning, thinking that you just got enough for the kit and that was it. That's nice that they actually did do that, give you extra screws. So we want to make sure we're orienting this part correctly here. Looks like it goes just like this, and then we've got this little plate with a peg on one side and a slot on the other. It drops down in place just like that. I'll get this closer to the camera for you. And then you can see on the bottom side we've got to put one screw in there. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. I have finally gotten around to magnetizing my screwdrivers. I don't know why it took me this long, but this should go a little bit smoother. So I'm just putting a little bit of grease on this. I've mentioned this before, just using some regular lithium grease there to hopefully prevent these plastic parts from galling when I'm putting them together. And we don't want to over tighten. I can feel when it just got snug there. And just like that, you guys. Now we're going to attach this on to the rest of the floor pan, I'm assuming, here at this point, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Hopefully the instructions are farther enough over. I've just got barely enough room here to show you both, you guys, but this floor pan's pretty big. So we're attaching this now. Don't want to attach our grease. We'll just attach this little part here. Goes on basically like that. We're going to flip this over. I'm just looking to see where our alignment holes go here. Okay, so we've got one in the center and one towards the outside. You just have to kind of go back and forth with your screwdrivers here, guys. I'm finding that in some cases it's better to use the bigger one, and in other cases better to use the smaller one. The smaller one gets in here pretty nicely. Okay, we're going to put one more on the outside here, it looks like. Make sure I get the right one. Okay, turn this over and have a look. Now, as we go along here, you guys, I'm not going to do that at this point here, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use some of my Tamiya weathering compounds here. These are just kind of like chalky type things. You get this nice little applicator brush. I'll just give you a quick example. I guess I can do that. Now I don't want to make this race car look, totally beat up and worn out or anything like that, but I do want to add a little bit of level of realism to this that you don't quite get with the basic, plated parts here, or plastic parts. And so what I did here is I selected this kind of metal, and what I'm going to do is, you see these little ribs right here? I'm just going to kind of lightly go over that, just like that. And we'll just kind of rub around it in a few little spots on the flat areas up here in the floor pan, where you'd see, the feet would be in there and kind of things like that. And I'll kind of try to zoom in on that for you. If I can maybe just hold it up. But you can see what that does, you guys, is it just makes it, it gives it a little bit of a metal look. Like underneath of that paint, there's a little bit of metal that's been worn through just a little bit. Nothing severe. It just gives it that illusion that, it's a metal piece. And it just adds a whole lot to a model. And you don't have to go crazy, you guys. Now, what I'm going to also be doing here is, you can see typical with this plastic that it's kind of uneven. You'll see it looks kind of blotchy almost. So just like I did on some of those other parts, I'm going to be taking and spraying this all down with some of my satin clear coat. It'll just give not a flat finish, but just a nice semi-gloss. And that'll smooth all that out and make that look good. And then I'll come back and reapply, because when I do that, it'll kind of wash this stuff out. But I'll come back and reapply some of that stuff. We're going to be doing more of that as we go along. And you want to do it kind of a little bit later on anyway, once everything's been installed and you can kind of see what will be visible and what not and all that. But, you just kind of figure it out for yourself. Okay, you guys? So just a little something extra. Where, there's nothing wrong with doing a little bit extra to one of these models. You don't have to build it straight out of the box. You can add your own little personal touches. For example, just on the body here, if you wanted to have it more of a race, appearance car, you could add a little bit of weathering and grime on it. Don't go crazy with that either, but a little bit of splashed up around the fenders and around the front, and of course a lot on the front end, because they'd be behind other cars or whatever during the race, getting stuff kicked up on it. But make it look race used if you want to do that. And or you can have a completely pristine factory fresh car, whichever way you choose to go in your own mind. But that's the beauty of this whole thing. Okay, so now we're going to move on to update number 19. Let's flip to the back here and see what we're working on next. And it looks like we're going to be adding some more interior detail here to our floor pan. So I'll grab these parts. This is the, just want to figure out what they're calling these things. We have a fire extinguisher. Let me make sure I'm in the picture for you guys. We have a fire extinguisher, a couple more detail parts here, caps it looks like, and these are being called the right and the left fuel lines. Okay, and then we're using another FP01 set of screws to install these. So let me get those parts out here real quick. Looks like this bag right here contains just about everything we're going to be working with. Okay, so we'll get that out. Got another little bag of screws, which is nice. Get those all laid out here. Again, these are all the same, so we don't have to worry about mixing them up. Okay. And we've got our little fire extinguisher parts. And, oop, they got that in a separate seal there. Cut this again. Okay. Just do a little clean up here real quick. Okay, so we've got these little parts that are going to be going on. We want to make sure we get these correct on both sides. So I'm going to be orienting the parts as they show them laid out in the pictures. And it looks like the first thing they want us to do is install the left fuel rail. Okay, so we're setting up just like this. And they are marked left and right. That's convenient. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so it goes basically down flat like this. Our little fuel line plugs right in here, and then this lays down flush, and then we're going to flip it over and put in, it's like 2 of the FP01 screws. Let's check this out again and see how well it fits our screwdriver. These fit pretty good. Okay, we'll put a little bit of grease on there. We'll go for the first one here. Get that started. Good there. Alright, we'll just kind of flip it over here and have a look and make sure everything's looking as seen in the drawings or the pictures here. Looks good. Okay, so alright, we're repeating that thing on the right hand side here. Alright, get the fuel line pushed in there. Drop it in place. Now we've got this little screw that goes here. And then we can get this finished up and move on to the, looks like the fire extinguisher is up next. Remember not to over tighten these, you guys, because it is easy to strip these, especially with this grease on there. So just when you feel it snug up a little bit, it's time to stop. So far I haven't seen anything besides the, if you guys recall back on that one update we did, we had the little driving lights that go on the bottom that required a little bit of glue, but so far I haven't seen anything on this that's required any glue moving forward. But if it does, we'll definitely not hesitate to use that. We want to do it right. Don't want to have things falling apart on us later on. Okay, so we've got that. We'll just kind of check it again here on the top side. Make sure everything looks clean and straight. Looks pretty good there, you guys. You can see the details starting to pop out on this. Love the beautiful like satin aluminum look of these parts. Okay, now we're flipping over to the next page, and it looks like we're going for the fire extinguisher. And so we're just putting these 2 halves together. Probably kind of snaps together. Yep, just like that, a little bit of a pressure fit. Not too bad of a seam along the side. We won't really be able to see that too much once it's down in there. We'll probably come back, like I said, guys, and I'm going to be doing a little extra things. Like you can see right here, this would normally be like a little pressure gauge. So I'll probably come back and drop a little bit of white paint in there and maybe try to like hand brush or put like a little thin piece of vinyl tape on there with like a little red line or something, like an indicator mark or something like that, just to add a little detail. Maybe some silver on this tip or something, maybe black the tip out, maybe do a little bit of a wash around the handle here, just to try to make it you know, pop a little bit more. Little things like that you can do. Okay, so now we're going to be oh, I'm jumping ahead of myself too. We're going to be putting these plates down here, you guys, so let's go ahead and drop these in one at a time. Looks like just one screw holds those. Get the screw in ready to go here. And again, these will only go in one way. You got a pin and then a socket, so you can't get that wrong. That's nice. Just like that. So have a look at that. Okay, even more nicer detail there. Really nice, guys. Love this stuff. Gonna be fantastic. Okay, now we're going to do the fire extinguisher, and that goes right up in this area right here, it looks like. Again, we got the pin in the socket type arrangement. Okay, we'll get this set up next. Oh, looks like it's going to hold by itself. That's good. Screwdriver. I use the biggest screwdriver that'll work, you guys. That way I guarantee it won't slip or anything like that. But every once in a while I'm having to go down to the smaller one. But these FP01 screws, looks like the bigger screwdriver is working in most cases. Okay, we got that attached. There's our fire extinguisher. Beautiful. It's out in the open yet, so I can still get to that to do that little detail painting I'm talking about. So we'll work on that maybe in the next video. Let's see where we're leaving off here now, you guys. Looks like the end of that one. Let's move on to update number 20 here and see what we're going to deal with next. Okay, this is a rear window interior partition, they're calling it. Ooh, look at these pictures, you guys. So gorgeous. This is the, I guess, the street version of the GT40. Wow, so gorgeous, you guys. Look at that. Hopefully we're not getting a lot of glare. I don't know about you, but I'd still be happy to drive that car to work today. Definitely be an eye grabber. Just gorgeous. And the difference between the street version here, as you can see, and the race version. Notice those ventilated seats again for long endurance type racing. And there's some great shots of the dashboard detail here, you guys, which I'm very interested in, because upcoming here shortly we're going to be doing some work with the dashboard, and it's given me some ideas about doing some painting to make that a little bit more accurate. So that's nice. Okay, so in this update here, it looks like they're just giving you the part. Okay, so we can, let me grab the part first, and then we'll move on to 21 and see what we're going to actually do with that. Make sure I have it here. Here it is right here. First glance, I thought this was part of the front bumper setup, but it's actually the rear engine firewall. So we'll get this out and have a look at the part itself. As you can see, really nicely done. Some circuit type boxes or something down in here. We may want to do a little extra paintwork detail on that. And you can see again what I'm talking about here, you guys. You see this little bit of cloudiness in the plastic, where it's a little bit, you know, blotchy looking. We're going to definitely take care of that with some satin clear. Let me see what we're going to be doing with this firewall. I may want to spray that before I go any further here. Yeah, we're going to be attaching some parts onto this, you guys. Oh, and we're attaching the this comes with some really super cool looking realistic racing harnesses here for the driver. So yeah, I'm going to pause real quick, you guys. I'm going to paint this, and it'll take a few minutes or an hour for this to dry, and then I'll have that ready to go, because I don't want to paint this after everything's been attached. Okay, so let me get that done and we'll be right back. Alright, you guys, well, I'm back with you again, and I took a little time to do a little bit of extra detail work while I was painting the floor pan here with my satin clear. I also painted the firewall here, the back, and it made it look a lot better. A little something I'll show you right here. I did a little bit of extra little detail on those parts right there. Just kind of highlighted those with some silver where the bolts and stuff are, just to kind of bring that out a little bit. And then here's what I did with my little fire extinguisher. You can see, guys, if I can get this in the camera for you here. I put a little I used a little bit of my foil tape and made a little kind of a hold down strap on there that was missing. I repainted the top part silver. I didn't see that that should be in that kind of gold color like it was. And then what I did there is I had a little thin red pinstripe decal, so I made the little marker indicator there on the lens, and I used a little bit of my solar res here, and I made a little clear lens over the top of that to make that look a little bit more interesting, and that made that look pretty cool, I think, and it worked out pretty good. So little things like that here and there. I also took some of my transparent Tamiya blue and did the little kind of blue anodized fittings on our fuel lines here, if you can see that. And that made that look a little bit nicer as well. I'll be doing that throughout on the little areas where there's fuel fittings. I noticed that on pictures of the real car. So now we're ready to move on to the next stage here, which will be stage 21. We're going to be working with this rear firewall, so let me get the booklet opened up here and see what we've got. Okay, and I've got to get some parts out here. Okay, we're working with 4 of these really nice driver harness straps, and okay, they're calling a safety harness, co-driver interior compartment box, co-driver interior compartment box lock, ignition coil, and we've got some screws. So let me dig these parts out of our little package here. Looks like this is the one right here. Okay, we got to be careful as always not to lose this stuff, and we'll just kind of get it separated from the, get it out of the parts blister here. Alright. Wow, I really like these little safety harness belts, guys. These look really, really nice. They've even silk screened the label on there. Sabit, I think they're called. But really cool. Alright, let's get this out. Some of these are packed in here pretty good. Okay, let's get this little bubble going on here. To flop on me and throw my parts across the room. Okay, so as mentioned, we've got some safety harnesses here, and we've got a fuel relay, fuel pump relay. I'm gonna go ahead and pluck that out of there, and we've got like a little lock mechanism here, and we've got our screws. Looks like we're using the FP01s again. Get those ready to go. Okay, and let's see, what are we working with first, you guys? Okay, we're putting this little cap on, and this is notched, so it'll only go on there one way, just like that. We're going to use an FP01 screw to hold it in place. Make sure I get that started nice and straight. Okay. And here's our little assembly there. Cool little detail. Okay. And then this is getting placed onto the bulkhead. Alright. With the slanted part facing up, it looks like. Okay, I'm in the wrong place. Okay, they're going right here. Looks like that. Looks like we've got one screw that holds it. nice and tight. Oh, something stuck on there. But you can see that little painting that we did right there made it pop right next to this other little piece right here. Kind of brought up the whole thing, so that's really cool. Okay, now we're going to flip the page here, and I believe we're putting in the safety harnesses next. Nope, we're putting in this little relay. Okay, so let's see about where that goes. Looks like we're dealing on the back side here. Again, this is slotted, so it only goes in one way. Just like that. With that little fitting that they have on the end of it, it looks like there's going to be a some fuel line or something later on that's going to attach to that, I'm assuming. Okay, let's get this lined up again. There's something I'm not doing right here, you guys. That should go in there easier than that. There we go. The hole almost like it seems like it's not big enough for the screw. Let me try this again. Do it like this. Sorry, I'm off camera for a second, guys. I'm just double checking this. There we go. And I'm sure that screw is going to be hidden by the seats once this is all in there. So now we're looking at what we would see in the engine compartment, and so that's a nice little detail there. All right, now looks like we're going with the safety harnesses. Okay, this is going to be fun putting these in. Now you do want to pay attention because the label that's on these faces outward towards the interior, so we don't want to have these flipped upside down. They just simply slide over these four little pegs, it looks like. So they're all the same length, so we don't have to worry about them being different. So I think what we do here is we slide it through the slot like this. Pop it down over top of these little pegs. And I want you to make sure that that's all the way down on there flush. We'll just make sure it's on there nice and straight. Like that. And then there, you can see now that we have them facing in the right direction, you guys. So we just have to do 3 more of these. This is almost like some little spring steel that these are made out of, you guys. They clamp right down and hold onto those posts really good. Shouldn't have to worry about those coming loose, but if you want, you can put a tiny little dab of glue on those. Shouldn't have to worry about it though. Okay, we'll get this one in there. That one they actually glued it onto the thing a little bit crooked, but it's alright. It looks pretty good in the front. You won't notice that. Okay. And then down to the last one here. Making sure the label is the right way. Okay, let's kind of lay that out for you there. Love these detailed little fasteners and all that. That's really, really awesome. Just kind of show you that, you guys. Really nice, really nice. Okay, and then it's giving you a picture here how this will look once it's installed with all the other stuff. All right, so we'll set this off to the side, move on to number 22. See what's in store for us here. Looks like okay, we've got lower safety harnesses, engine compartment tank, engine compartment filler tube, and a piece of clear plastic for the engine compartment partition window. Alright, let me source those parts here. And we have this little package right here. Okay, same thing, we'll be careful taking these parts out. Go ahead and get rid of that now. This little blister out of here. Oh, love the detail on this stuff, you guys. Looks nice. Alright. So let's see what we're working with first here. Okay, we've got this little tank assembly and the filler tube. And that only goes in one way. This time we're working with the, put these screws in my little extras cup. This time we're working with some different size screws, you guys. We've got some FP04s and some FP01s. Alright, so what are we calling for on this one? Insert the engine compartment tank filler tube into the engine compartment tank and press home. Turn the tank over and secure with an FP01 screw. Okay, we can do that. Alrighty. in place just like that. There's the detail of the part. Really nice. Okay. Okay, retrieve the rear interior partition and mount the engine compartment tank in its location, inserting the tab into the tank into the slot on the partition. Secure the pieces together using an FP04 screw. Okay, so we're looking at this from the right direction, it looks like. Alright. It's got kind of this little slot that it sits in. There's a tab on the back side of this, you guys, and you can see this tab goes right in against the wall here, and it sits on there. There's just kind of a little bracket right there. That's why they're having you use this other type of a screw, and I'll show you why. It's got like a little, it's got a little shoulder or like a washer on it, okay, which makes sense for that. Get a little bit of our grease on that. Okay, so I'm assuming, yeah, once it's in the car, you can't see that the bottom of it's open like that. Okay, let's see what we're doing next. Yep, I think, oh, we've got to put our glass in. Okay. This I want to make sure I handle carefully because I don't want to get a bunch of fingerprints all over it. Okay, we're pressing this into place. It sits in there, guys, but it's kind of poppy. It wants to pop back out. I'm assuming there's going to be something else going over the top of that that's going to help hold that in place. I hope. Alright, we're moving on from there to the seats. Just going to set that off to the side, and I've got to dig into my other box now that I stored all the previous parts in to find our seats. Okay. Let's go to this box here. Bring those in. All right. And now we are putting in these lower lap belts. Okay, so all right, now you can see there's a top and the bottom to these. The top details what you want to show. So when you drop these through, make sure you set it up like that. And then we're just dropping it into the slot here on the edge of the seat. Easier said than done. Let me see if I can do this with my tweezers. Okay, same thing we did on the uppers. There's just a little locating pin right here, and we're just popping it over the top of that. Okay. Alright, and then that just kind of, we do have it the right way. Like I said, the detail is supposed to be facing up. Okay, so let's try this again on the other side, and hopefully it goes a little smoother. Well, that one dropped right through, no problem. There was just something on that one side that was just snagging that clip. I don't know. It was, and it being it's rubber, like I said, it was really gripping on it. It wouldn't let me slide it around. All right. I just lay those in place and show you how that looks. Really nice. Once it's all said and done, you guys, it's worth it. Okay, so now we're doing the same thing on the other side, it looks like. Let's see if there's an up or a down. Yeah, you can definitely tell on this part. This is the upside. The back side, you can see, has a little bit of the pin, injector pin mark there. You want to hide that. So this is going to go right into the little slot right here. I think we're going to have the same problem again, you guys. I'm going to actually have to sit down here. This is going to take a second to work this out. Did it drop in? I hope. Good, it did. All right, thank you. Small miracles do happen. And straighten out there. Alright, we're down to the last one of these. Hopefully it cooperates, you guys. Again, checking to make sure I've got the part oriented right, so we hide that injector pin mark when it's in place. Tight fit on this side. Goes. Okay. This time I think it's going to drop right down in there. I hope so. I don't know why it's acting like it wants to drop in there. Man, it will not let me pull it through at all. It's acting like it's snagged on something. There it goes. Very weird. Okay. So you can see what it looks like installed on the bottom, you guys. Back over to the top. Something like that. This is all going to latch together with the top and the bottom once it's all figured out. Just kind of show that to you. Really nice. Okay. And now just a picture of the completed project later on. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we're on to the next group of parts here, which came with my second shipment. Let's see what's happening with that. So here we have 23, 24, 25, and 26. Okay, let's see what's going on with 23. Ooh, look at the beautiful Cobra. I always like to thumb through these little booklets here. I'm going to have these in a binder at the end, you guys, where this is all going to be really nice and organized, but let's see what they're talking about history-wise. Ooh, some AC Cobra stuff, you guys. An all chrome version. Okay, this was a later continuation car. So Carroll Shelby, actually before he passed away, he gave official license to the company to continue producing these Shelby Cobras with actual Shelby authentic chassis numbers. So apparently this is one of the vehicles that they produced. Not sure if I like the chrome look or not, but it is bold, I'll say that about it, but it's pretty cool. Here's an original competition type Cobra. You can see that the bumpers and everything are kind of different on those cars. Here's one of the original first run Cobras with actor Steve McQueen talking to Carroll Shelby at the Carroll Shelby dealership in California. Steve McQueen was a huge car guy, so I'm sure he was interested in these when they came out. Pretty cool stuff. Alright. Ooh, the famous Cobra Daytona Coupe. I'm not sure how many of these were ever built, but it's only a handful. I actually have a nice die cast of one of these that I really like. But these were legendary on the racetrack. And here's a street version of a Cobra. This is actually one of the continuation cars. It says that they're continuing to manufacture these in Las Vegas. Really cool. Okay, so now we're going to be working with a part called 23A interior portion. Okay, this is the bulkhead I was thinking that's going to go over the top of our glass to help hold this in. Alright, and then fuel pump shutoff switch, tube 1, tube 2, and some screws. Okay, so let's, I don't think we're going to be dealing with the seats right now. Let's move those guys out of the way. And our floor pan. And that way I can kind of keep you guys more centered in the picture here too. Alrighty. And I'm going to bring in our parts. So it looks like the first thing is this bag here. Ooh, we got some interesting stuff coming up next, guys. We'll save that for just a bit here. Okay, so this is our little partition. And we've got some rubber fuel lines, some screws, and this little fuel pump relay assembly. Alright, let's see, we're not using these screws anymore, so they go in our little cup. I just like to move them out of the way so we don't get the wrong ones. Get this going on. These are the FPO2s. I think I'm going to have to leave those in the bag just for now so we don't mix these up. Alright. Get this out of the way. I don't like to work cluttered, you guys, if you haven't been able to tell by now. It gets confusing and messy. Okay, so let's see. Oh, we can pop this stuff out of the bag too. I got some little fuel lines we're going to be working with here. Alright. Alright, the first thing they want us to do is attach this little elbow fitting onto this part right here. Okay, if you look really close, you guys, you can see that there's a half moon sort of shaped slot. And I'm sure we got the same thing going on. Yes, that's exactly what we got. So we're going to plug this in here like this. It's just a press fit. Fits in there nice and tight. Now I'm going to have to do my same little paint detail right there, you guys, later on with the blue anodized look. I'll just paint a little silver on there first and some, to me, a transparent blue over the top of it, and that gives you a really nice anodized blue look. You'll see both anodized blue and red fittings on some of the fuel system on the vehicle. I noticed that, like I said, on the real thing. Okay, now we're plugging this into the end here of the one on the left side. And it doesn't look like there's any kind of particular orientation. We just want to make sure that they're straight up and down. Push that in there nice and tight. Okay, and then we're going to be folding the one over on the farthest left and plugging that into the center hole on the left tank. Okay, on the left part here. Yeah, that's definitely going to require a little bit of glue, you guys. So let me get my, that's a vinyl part, so that's going to call for some CA glue. Oops, hope I didn't bump everybody out of the picture there. Oh, we're still good. Sorry about that. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of CA glue on that. It kind of wants to sit in there, but not that great, so I'm not going to take a chance. I'll just put a little dab on that. Okay, and I'm going to fold that over and put that in. Like so. And the one on the other side folds over and goes into the, oh, I can't find my fresh glue spot here now, you guys. Where did I put it? And we'll try it again. Oh, there it is. Okay. Same thing on this side. And it's a straight shot. Okay. Now it looks like they want us to attach it onto our divider here. Just looking at the way it's oriented. Okay, it's slotted. That always helps out. And we're going to be using a FP01 screw, so that's one of these. Get my CA put back away so we don't tip that and get that all over something. Okay. Bit of grease. Get in here with the skinnier screwdriver for this one. Some of this stuff is just awkward to hold on to, you guys. Just do your best. Take your time. Make sure it's nice and straight and everything looks good. There we go. Give you a look at that. Yep, it's nice and straight. Our fuel lines are holding on real good. And then, as I said, I'll come back at some point and do a little bit of paint work on that. Okay, what's going on next? Alright, now we're laying this over the top of our partition that we worked on a second ago, and this is going to make me feel better because this is going to lock down our glass. It's just sitting in there. Okay, these got these little screw holes that this has to pop over the top of. Just like that. Okay. And we are calling for FP02 screws this time. These are tiny. Screwdriver could still get that. Okay, one down. 5 of these that need to go in, apparently. Across the top. And I've got 2 down here, and I guess they're using the same small ones. Alright, and that's complete. And our glass is all in there nice and secure now. I don't have to worry about that anymore. That's good. Okay. Okay, now we're align the 5 screws. Okay, recover the interior floor assembly. Position the assembled partition on the floor just behind the fuel lines. 19E. Okay, that's what we're doing. Alright, we're bringing the floor pan back in, you guys. Okay. And guess something like this. Alright. Not calling for any screws yet. Behind the partition, insert the end of tube 1, 23C into the hole on connection plate 18B. Okay, I see what we're doing here. You see this little, if I can show you guys this up close. We had that little fuel line that we attached with the elbow, so that's going onto that plate down there now. Let's see how good that stays in there. Yeah, it's kind of in there all by itself. Okay, that's fine. We don't have to worry about that. And once this is screwed down, this is going to hold itself together really good for us there. I'm assuming we're going to be putting some screws in this in a second here. Yep, we've got some FP01s that go in the bottom, and there's 4 of those. Okay, let's work this upside down. And I see the screw holes, and they're in there pretty deep. Let's see what we come up with here, you guys. I'm just going to get one of them started on each side. This one tight and see what happens here. Okay, and trying to figure out where the other? Okay, right here. These two outer holes, right there. It's really neat starting to see this thing take shape, you guys. You can start to really appreciate the size this thing's going to be and just the overall detail. And it's looking really cool. Okay. And there's our interior partition, all bolted in and nice and solid. Okay. Here's a view of the back side. You can see that little detail we're doing here and there is going to start to pay off in the end, you guys. You'll notice that little extras here and there. Alright, so that's it for stage 23. Let's open up 24 now and see what we're working with. Yes, I was excited to see this next, you guys. Okay, just showing you that you get the part with this one. It's your dashboard. All right. So then we're going to go to number 25. Some of Ford's in the detail information. Oh, my favorite race car driver, Bill Elliott. All right, I'm a big fan of his son who's racing now in NASCAR. I've actually got this model kit here. I have to build that one of these days. And there's his original Coors number 9 that he made famous. Unfortunately, never won a race when he was driving for McDonald's. Alan Kwiecki, who grew up in my part of the woods up in Wisconsin, 1992 NASCAR champion, unfortunately was killed in a plane crash the next April. Never really got to enjoy much of his championship. He was kind of the last of the owner drivers that won his own championship. Mark Martin, cutaway view of his Valvoline Thunderbird there. Okay, so time to get out some more parts, and I believe we're going to be doing some painting here, you guys, because as I was looking at this, bring in our parts here first. Now we can move our floor pan back out of the way. If we go back and you recall, I showed you that interior picture of the real race car. Something caught my eye there, and I'll explain here. These switches, these toggle switches that go up on the dashboard, they're definitely not gold. I'm not sure why they went with that color, but I'm going to be painting these silver. And then what have we got going on here? Okay, this is your faceplate here. We've got some a clear lens insert type thing that goes in there, and we've got some decals, you guys. We've got to put some decals on. And I don't believe these are water slide. These are just press and stick. Okay. And let's see what it's saying about that. Okay, the first one we're going to put on is the one on the far left. So we can go ahead and do that. We're going to orient the part correctly. Alright. So this one here on the far left is sort of done in a gray, a little bit different than the other ones. That's the one they're asking us to put on first. Oops. Make sure I get this nice and straight. It's got plenty of stickum on it, that's for sure. Alright, that one's in place. The big one in the center looks like it's the rev indicator, or tachometer as we call it in the United States. Okay. And then The other ones, it says just kind of place them where you feel good. So we'll just put them on. We'll just put them on. Looks like they're pretty much all the same. If you're a real race car fanatic and you really pay attention to a lot of the details, you'll know that a lot of times what the crew chief and the driver will do is they'll kind of work together on the layout of their car, and oftentimes what they'll do is they'll put these gauges in, right, and they'll angle them. They'll have them. In other words, they won't necessarily put them all in perfectly like from the factory like that. They may have them laying completely like 180 degrees turned, so that what happens is like when all the functions that the gauges are reading are operating in the proper area, like maybe all the needles will be pointing straight across or all pointing straight up, and they'll index it that way. So the driver can just do like a quick glance and say, okay, everything like the oil pressure, oil temperature, you know, all the things that are being monitored by these gauges are all in their normal operating ranges, and the driver doesn't have to spend much time looking at that instead of keeping his eyes on the track. And if one is slightly out a little bit, it catches his eye right away. That's just kind of an old school racing thing that's been around for a long time. Alright, there's a look at the gauges nice and close. Get these up here in the right picture for you. Really nice. Alright, get our other screws over here. So let's flip the page. Now you can see we've got these little toggle switches. I believe what I'm going to do is go off camera here and do some painting on these. Get those looking a little bit more accurate. Not yet, because they're calling for those to go in next. Here's a picture of what they look like in the car, and I already put the other book away, but yeah, that's definitely not correct, you guys, so we're not going to do that. We're going to paint these. Let me get that done really quick. Good place to pause right here. We'll come back and then we'll get this all installed. Be right back. Alright, you guys, well, I spent a few minutes here getting my little switch, my toggle switches painted up. It looks a whole lot better. I'll show you guys a little bit closer detail of that in just a second. But what they're having us do now is they have us brought in the instrument panel itself. We're flipping this over kind of like this, it looks like, and then we're going to be installing these. So they go in here, looks like with the top part facing up. Those press into place. Got those put in, okay. They're just sitting in there for now. Alright, and then we're moving along to the next step. Got both of those in. Okay, now we're putting in the glass for the gauge lenses. Again, that's just sitting in place. Now we're bringing in the gauges themselves. You can see it has these plates in here that go over the top. That's what's going to hold in our switches. Okay, and we've got to use two of these FPO2 screws for this. They don't want us putting in the third screw that goes in the center just yet. There's obviously something else that gets attached to that, so we'll follow the instructions here. These are pretty small, so I'll switch back to the small screwdriver. I had it the first time. Okay. I believe that's everything. Okay. And there you have it, you guys. There are our gauges. Try to not have the glare on that for you guys. And our little switches. They look a whole lot better. I kind of knocked some of my black paint off when I stuck them through there, but I'll just touch that up. But yeah, big improvement there, you guys. I just used some of my all-clad aluminum silver around the whole thing, and then I just touched up the switches themselves with some satin black. And that looks really good. Yeah, there's like a little red light indicator here. You can kind of see a little reflection in that. Must be when the engine is on or some kind of indicator. The everything looks good. I'm really happy with that. What a big improvement. Okay, so we're done with this stage. We'll move on to 26, and I think the last thing here is very simple. Yeah, we have the top of the dashboard that's going on, you guys. So let me grab that out of the parts box here. Okay. And we do have some additional parts. Let me see what we got going on here if we're doing actually more. Those must be for later on. Let me see what they're saying here. We have some other interior. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we're just putting the dash top on here. Let's back up a little bit, you guys. Make sure we didn't miss anything. When you get your information about the parts that you got, let's look at 25 here. I'm not sure about that, guys, but I'll just show you basically what they are. We got some, we got a gear shift, we got some vents. Looks like they go on the dash. I recall seeing this going in. I must be missing something here. Am I missing? Oh, yeah, we've got one more. Okay, that solves that whole thing, guys. That had me worried there for a minute. Okay, so we do actually have one more little step we've got to do here. And that's putting in these vents, this part of the gear shift plate, the gear shift itself, and then I think we're actually putting in the seats. That'll be cool. All right, so let's save that one for just a second here. Let's go back to where we were, and we'll get our dash top put on. Okay, we'll get that out of the bag. Whoops. Okay. Got a couple of screws for that, so we're going to go ahead and clear these other guys out of here. Those can go all in the cup. Don't need my solar res anymore. Okay. Goes on the way. Just kind of looking at our finish on this. This has got a nice, even semi-gloss or flat finish on the top to give it that kind of vinyl or leather look, which I'll show you. What, you'll be able to see what we did way back. If you guys remember, we did that on the seats to make those look different than the regular plastic that's in the interior, and you'll see that that actually paid off and looks really nice. Okay, so we just got these. Oops, you can see the slots here where this sits. Okay, so let me get a screw ready. Start off on the center one. That's why they had us save that that center hole that we didn't do on the rest of the instrument cluster. So we'll do that one first here in the middle. Okay, get that started. I'm not going to run that one down all the way tight just yet. Okay. So yeah, with these steps right here, you guys, it looks like we're going to be Getting pretty close with the most of the interior being completed, and that's really cool. We'll tighten up the center one all the way here. And there we have our completed dash assembly, or for the most part. Alright, that looks great. Wow, really cool. Alright, now we're going to open up this bag and move on to, yep, that's it for this part. Okay, now we're into 27. This will be our final installment for this video. And let's see. Okay, we're doing some final work here on the instrument panel. Looks like these little vents go in. And we've got screws that go for those. These are FPO2s. So we'll get those ready. Back to those really tiny ones. Alright, now we're going to orient our parts correctly here. We got this upside down like this. See if these are marked left or right by any chance. Nope. Okay, so we can tell them apart. They're shaped differently here. So let's check this out. Okay, so it looks like the trying to make up my mind which way these go here, you guys. Okay, so the right air vent is 27B. Looks proper to me. Okay. We'll go ahead and run a screw into that. Wow, that screw doesn't fit that at all. Huh. Do we have different screws? Aha, yes, we do. I'm not sure why they did that. They packed the wrong screws in the wrong, these are the FPO1s that we need, and it looks like we're using the smaller screws for this gear shift. So yeah, be careful about that, you guys. Alright. Get our scissors out here and get these. Okay, that one's in. I have 2 screws on this side. There it goes. Okay. Okay, once again we'll flip that over. It adds that little detail right there, which is pretty sweet. Our little air vents. Really nice. There's the top of the dash. It's too bad that this isn't set up for backlighting for those gauges. That would have been a nice little extra touch. But one little thing I'll do is I'll just go back and touch those little tips of those switches up. But that's it for that part. Now we're going to be moving to the... We're being asked to bring the interior tub back in. And now we're going to be installing the gear shift on the floor. Okay, so Now we're going to be needing those little tiny screws, I'm sure. Let's get this little part opened up. Our shifter plate. Alright, let me bring the interior in. Okay. Looks like the gear shift goes over in this corner right here. We got two locating spots. This little hole in the back right here, guys, you slide this in first like this and then drop it down in. Okay. That's what they're calling for anyway. Okay, just like that. I'm flipping it over. And now we're going to be using a couple of these really tiny ones. Whoops. My grease is gone. I must have grabbed a hold of it with something. Oh, here it is over here, you guys. I got it snagged on the... Okay. Having a hard time getting it to start on that one. Whoop, the whole thing moved, that's why. Let me get this back where it was. Yep, this is going to be a little bit awkward, I can see that. Try to keep my finger on that and at the same time get this screw on here. Okay, now hold still this time. This is going to be something else here, you guys. Just get it to go down in the hole there. Get a couple turns going. Okay, let's see here. This is this chrome plated part, you guys, is it's a hard plastic, so the screw is not wanting to start in it as easy as it does the softer plastic. You got to put a little bit of effort into it. There we go. I grabbed a hold. I knew once I got one of them started that we would be okay. All right. Okay, you guys, well, actually, to finish this part of it up off camera, it was a real struggle. I had finally got these little screws in here, and it does use the smaller FPO2 screws, but it's a real battle to get. You have to get the seats down in there, and you'll feel that, like, each one of the, it's trying to fight you because the there's some screws that we installed on the bottom of the seats. That's what, as far as I can tell, at an earlier stage, and they're hitting the floor, so you really have to push hard on each corner of the seat to get the little peg to get down all the way into the little slot to where the screw will reach it, and you can start it. But anyway, in the long run, we got them all in there. We got all four of them in there, so let's flip this over and we'll show you what it all looks like. You got our little harnesses here. We'll just kind of get these kind of tidied up a little bit. This one kind of goes over the top. You probably want to take some canopy glue or something like that and put a little spot of glue on these so they're just kind of in the seat like this in a little grouping. That's what I'm going to do anyway. And then they won't flop around on you when you, if you just leave them laying loose like this in there, they're just going to flop all over the place all the time. But just kind of give you a little look like something like that. How cool is that, you guys? That looks really sweet. Alright, let's get a little bit closer for you here. And then we have our dash. We'll just kind of see if we can mock this up a little bit and see how it's going to look. I'm not sure how exactly this fits in here, but something like that, you guys, where you're going to see all that beautiful detail. Really cool. Alright, so that'll conclude this stage, you guys, or these stages It'll probably be another month or so before I'll come back with an update, because what I like to do with these is I wait until like a couple of my parts pack updates come in, so we're not just doing a little short 15-minute video. We got a little something substantial to show you. But we did our nice little work on our fire extinguisher there, which really brought that up. We got our seats looking really nice. We did our switches here on the dash and everything, and that's really cool. A little something extra. I'll probably go around these little vents and a few little areas here and highlight with some of my Tamiya weathering that I showed you, just kind of make those pop a little bit more. And that's looking really good. Top of the dash looks great. Alright, you guys, well, I hope you're enjoying this. I know I am. This is a great model kit. Really happy I decided to work on it, and it's looking really nice. So we'll see what lies in store in the next update, you guys. I'm trying not to watch anybody else's videos on this that's ahead of me, because I kind of want to be surprised on what I'm going to get for my next part shipment. So we'll see. Until next time, everybody, take care out there, and happy modeling, you guys.